So thank you very much for this wonderful opportunity to introduce to you Samudara, the South Asian Manuscripts and Unique Documents Digital Humanities Archival and Research Application. It's a digital research environment under construction in the context of the Digital Nyaya Bhashya project, which is directed by Ili Franco at the University of Leipzig, with Karin Preisendanz as an external collaborator, myself as a research associate, and Christian Fasse, Dr. Christian Fasse from the University of Vienna. So I have structured my presentations in two main parts. I will very briefly talk about the scholarly need for a critical edition of the Nyaya Bhashya, and then I will introduce our workflow for creating a digital critical edition of the Nyaya Bhashya, in which Samudara already now plays an important role and will play an even more important role in the future when it will become a fully fledged digital research environment. I should mention that Martin Gluckman is the one who is doing the technical work for us with regard to creating this much needed digital infrastructure. So why are we taking up this work of preparing another edition of the Nyaya Bhashya, a critical edition of the Nyaya Bhashya, when there are already 29 editions of this text, which is, as you all may know, one of the most fundamental texts in the history of Indian philosophy. It is the oldest commentary that we have on the Nyaya Sutra. The Nyaya Bhashya itself was composed around the year 450 or a little bit earlier of the Common Era. It has been analyzed in various sub-commentaries and inspired hosts of thinkers. So it's really a great intellectual achievement of pre-modern South Asia. And that has been realized by earlier researchers and led to the production of quite a host of printed editions. The already existing printed editions have the problem that they have used only very few manuscripts, and they don't refer in a very exact way to the sources, the manuscript sources that they have employed. So a typical example is the Editio Princeps, the first printed edition published in the Bibliotheca Indica in Calcutta around 1864-65, which uses three manuscript sources, which are not very well specified, and refers to variant readings in a very general way with iti quacit pater. So I think one is justified to say that earlier editors lacked a historical perspective on the transmission history of this work, and we are trying to fill this gap. There are 37 manuscripts available for the third chapter of the Nyaya Bhashya, and you can see that in this list that these manuscripts are located all over India, in Allahabad, in Dagava, in Jaisalmer, in Chennai. There's a huge distribution of manuscripts all over the Indian South subcontinent, and most of these manuscripts were never taken into consideration for academic research. So in order to address the manuscript sources, it is first of all important to document what these sources really have to say. So we are preparing diplomatic editions of the manuscript sources, and for this we are using a very limited set of signs and symbols, and then we transcribe the text into Roman script using word separation at the respective instances. And the result is something like this. We have a manuscript image and an interlinear transcription of what the manuscript reads. So that all looks very simple, and it is very simple to create a slide for such a presentation. But when it comes to organizing the materials in a digital way and to refer to transcripts, to combine the transcripts with their images, the task becomes much more complex. And in this instance, the Samudara web application offers help. It is a tool which combines images of the witnesses with their transcript. And in this instance, I would like to switch to the live presentation. You see here the first page of Nyaya Bhashya 311 in the Editio Princeps, and its transliteration in an interlinear way. You can scroll, you can zoom in and zoom out of the image. You can enlarge and reduce the size of the transcription. It is possible to change the transcription with whatever text you want. You can save this, and in this way, you have a perfect access to the transcriptions. This Samudara web application is structured in the way that you can address the various witnesses. I have set up 3 witnesses here, the printed edition from Calcutta that I already mentioned, manuscript C3, which is a Devanagari manuscript from the Calcutta Sanskrit College. And you can see the nice feature that the web application automatically changes between portrait and landscape view. You can scroll to different text sections. I have just provided here 4 for the beginning of the Nyaya Bhashya. In case a text section extends from one image to another, as it is the case here with the beginning of Nyaya Bhashya 311 in manuscript C3, you can turn the page by simply clicking here, and then the next manuscript image appears. And you can go to whatever manuscript image that you want to see and select which is important if you want to directly move to a certain spot within the manuscript. So that's very convenient and a huge step forward in our work. We have a reading line that we can use for transcribing the text. It is possible to go into full screen mode, also scannable. So a very convenient way to address the task of transcribing. A brief look behind the curtain shows us how the system is managed. We have here the witnesses. Here are the respective passages. Then the manuscript images are aligned to the passages, and then we have the transcriptions here. So this is where Samudara stands now, but we want to develop Samudara further into a fully fledged digital research environment, which provides easy access to all the data that we have created in a transparent way. And in order to give you an idea of what we want to achieve, I am describing our workflow. First of all, we are preparing documentation of variant readings for all the manuscript that we have in a single file using the classical text editor software. This is a screenshot, and you see that each and every manuscript reading is recorded in a completely positive apparatus for the lemmatized text of the reference text, and this reference text is the edition by Thakur from 1997. This documentation of variant readings is then used to prepare a Nexus file. Nexus file is a file in a format that can be used by phylogenetic software. Software used in evolutionary biology to create trees of descendants among living species. We are using the same software to analyze the transmission history of the text. You see here that each and every identical reading gets the identical symbol in this file, and this file then can be analyzed with software. The computer program PORB produces a tree rooted cladogram for all the manuscripts for Nyaya Bhashya 3 that we're having, with a consistency index of 0.81. That means 81% of all variant readings are in agreement with this tree. This is the first representation of the transmission history, and with a lot of philological reasoning, observations on individual instances, we have arrived at a more complex representation of the transmission history of the Nyaya Bhashya stemma that you see here, and you can identify the witnesses that I've showed you earlier. Here is manuscript J2 from Jaisalmer. Here is manuscript C3 from the Calcutta Sanskrit College. And this information is, of course, important to create the critical edition. It's one important source of information for reconstructing the earliest reachable version, and this is the result of our endeavor, representation of the earliest reconstructible version, the critical edited text. And we have organized this text together with important information that we want to display in Samudara in its future developments. Here you see on the left-hand side a reduced set of variant readings, the most important variant readings that we have, that are informative and meaningful in their immediate and larger context. We have a reduced set of variant readings from the printed editions. We have the testimony in the commentaries on the Nyaya Bhashya and other works that refer directly to this text. We have cross-references in the Nyaya Bhashya, and we have glosses from the manuscripts. And on the other side, here you see the same information as on the left-hand side, but in its full installation. Two more sets of information are missing here, namely the translation of the critical edited text and the identification of the sutras. All these information shall be made available in Samudara by an export from the classical text editor in TEI XML that will be integrated in Samudara and combined with the passage overview that we already have. So that's what we are doing and what we want to achieve, and I'm very confident that we are on a good way to achieve the goals of our project. Thank you very much for your attention. Here are links to important software tool. We have a demo of Samudara set up, so if you want to check out the software yourself, you can do so immediately. The classical text editor is available at the homepage of the Austrian Academy of Science. PORP, the phylogenetic analysis tool, can be downloaded at phylosolutions.com. And if you are interested in the methodology that we are applying in computer-aided schematics, I can refer you to an article that I published in the Wiener Zeitschrift almost 15 years ago. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful demonstration. We have time for one question before we go for wonderful herbal tea with jaggery. So, no questions? Okay. Thank you, Dr. Philipp, for the wonderful presentation one more time. Let's give a huge round of applause for all the presenters.